You ever see an image that just sticks with you? Well, today we're going to dive into how the story of one tiny baby monkey actually reveals a huge truth about one of our most basic needs, connection. This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it all. We tend to think of connection and love as, well, feelings, right? Things we want. But what the science is telling us is that it's actually a need. It's hardwired into our biology for survival just as much as food or water. And the story that's going to help us unpack this biological need, it all starts with a little macaque who pretty recently captured the whole world's attention. His name is Punch. So shortly after he was born at a zoo in Japan, something really sad happened. Punch's mother abandoned him. It's a harsh part of the natural world for sure, but for this tiny little guy, it meant that, just like that, he was completely alone. And this is the image that went viral. Little Punch just clinging for dear life to this soft towel-like toy. And people everywhere, everywhere, felt this immediate pull, this empathy for this vulnerable little creature who was just trying to find some comfort. But what we were seeing wasn't just a cute picture. It was a raw survival instinct playing out right in front of us. So let's zoom out from Punch's story for a second and look at the incredible science behind it. This is where we get into the biology of belonging and really start to understand why that little toy was so critical for him. In the world of psychology, there's actually a name for this. It's called a transitional object. Basically, it's any item that gives us a sense of security and helps us manage our emotions when, our main caregiver isn't around. For Punch, that toy was a stand-in for the motherly bond he was biologically programmed to need. And this right here really breaks down what's happening inside the brain. Having secure bonds with caregivers literally builds a healthier brain. But when those bonds are broken, like they were for Punch, the body just gets flooded with the stress hormone cortisol. And over time, that constant stress can physically change the brain's wiring, making it way more prone to anxiety. Nurturing, on the other hand, that's what builds our emotional resilience right from the very start. But look, Punch's experience with isolation, this isn't just some far-off story about an animal, right? It's actually a powerful mirror that reflects a huge, growing public health crisis for us humans, the loneliness crisis. Just get a load of this number. A major study found that being chronically lonely increases a person's risk of dying early by 26%. We're not just talking about feeling down, we're talking about a serious physical health risk. And to really put that number into perspective, get ready for this. Some of the research out there suggests that the health damage from chronic loneliness is about the same as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Just let that sink in for a minute. So why? Why does loneliness hit our bodies so hard? Well, if you think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, being isolated from your tribe meant you were a sitting duck for predators. It was dangerous. And our nervous systems are still wired to react that way. So when you're lonely, your body basically flips a switch into high alert. It goes into a state of danger.
Okay, so let's really get into it. What does that state of danger actually do to your body? This is your physiology under the microscope when you're isolated.
It all happens in this really clear chain reaction. First, those all-important attachment bonds get broken, or they're just not there. That kicks the body's stress system into overdrive. Then, the body gets flooded with cortisol. And finally, that constant flood of hormones leads to very real, very physical symptoms. And here's what that actually looks like. Constantly high cortisol can absolutely wreck your sleep. It can weaken your immune system so you get sick more often. And it makes you much more sensitive to anxiety. It also triggers inflammation all through the body and can lead to things like high blood pressure. So the bottom line is pretty stark. The emotional pain of loneliness becomes actual physical illness. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. And yeah, it's a pretty serious one. But here's the good news. The story absolutely does not end there. Because just as powerfully as isolation can harm us, connection has this incredible, almost magical ability to heal us. Just look at this incredible contrast. On one side, isolation gives you high cortisol, but on the other, connection, that boosts oxytocin, which is often called the bonding hormone. Instead of a weak immune system, you get emotional validation, which actually calms your whole nervous system down. Chronic stress gets replaced by supported adaptation, and that feeling of anxiety is soothed by rebuilt confidence. It's like a total biological flip. And this is the key thing to remember. Real resilience isn't about being tough and just going it alone. True, lasting resilience is built when we have safe, supportive connections that let our bodies and our minds recover and grow. Healing happens together. So, knowing all of this, how do we actually apply it to our own lives? How can we actively go out and build the connections that literally protect our health? So, here are a few real, concrete things that we can all do. Make your close relationships a genuine priority. Find healthy ways to manage your stress, whether that's meditation or even just some simple deep breathing. Actively try to stay social, no matter how old you are. Build little daily rituals of connection. It could be a family dinner, a quick walk with a friend, anything. And most importantly, if you feel really stuck and isolated, there is absolutely no shame in seeking professional help. You know, this quote really brings it all home. Being healthy isn't just about what you eat or how much you exercise. It is fundamentally about our relationships. Caring for our bonds is a form of healthcare. So that leaves us with one last thought. After seeing what Little Punch can teach us about our own biology, just take a second to think about your own life. What's one relationship, one connection that you can nurture and prioritize starting today?